Hi and welcome to EV Car Share. I am driving back from Stirling. So if you watched the other video, Peterborough to Stirling, this is the return journey. Probably nothing spectacular is going to happen compared to the other one. We'll have a chat, we'll have a drive, probably stop at similar sort of locations, maybe slightly different on the A1 rather than Scotch Corner. I'll probably go a lot further on down. Still going to stop at Keswick because again I'm going to go cycling, so I'll plug the car in on a slow destination charger while I go and have a cycle up some hills, and then drive from there across the A66 down the A1, see how far we get and charge wherever we find a charging point to charge, I guess. So that's the plan. At the moment it's 8:42. I have 89% in the battery. I didn't get the car fully charged. I was planning on putting it on for an hour this morning while I had breakfast, but I'm at the University of Stirling and there's a graduation on today, so the car parks where the charge points were all cordoned off, so that was not an option. But hey, no problem. Got 89%, that'll do me. So let's get this show on the road. Okay, so not a nice morning particularly. A bit rainy, a bit cloudy, a bit meh. That's what you get, unfortunately, in March in Scotland a lot of the time. Coming out of the hotel car park to the barrier system. It's a pain having to scan things on your way in, your way out, but that's life, it seems. There we go. Yeah, well, there we should have gone. Nope, that's not working. Reverse out the barriers. And I will have to go and get a new ticket from the front desk. Perfect. So the ticket that says on it, valid until 9:45. I've been out of the car park once already. Clearly should also say on it, one time use only. Because it's still in validity according to the time. Right, back in a moment. Okay, so let's try this again. Got a new slip of paper. They give you have to go to the front desk and get a little slip of paper with a barcode on it to get out the car park. Yeah, the sign also says they've got ANPR cameras and there's a barrier on the way in. It's like, is this Fort Knox or something? There we go, that one's gone green. Out, get out. Hey, I've escaped. So here's the car park across the road with the charge point. I was going to drop the car into there while I had breakfast this morning, but there's men in high-vis jackets and cordoned off areas. I mean, they might have let me in if I told them why, but I don't want the hassle of all that. I got 90% anyway. Got 88. So that's fine. I have no concerns. Let's see what the sat nav says. Sat nav, what do you say? Take me to Keswick today. Okay, arrival 11:15 with 11% battery. It's only 148 miles. That's a bit pessimistic. It's 6 degrees out there at the moment. So it's chillier than it has been recently. I'm not sure it warrants that sort of pessimism from the car system. But hey, there we go. We shall see. We will have a drive and find out. I'll just stick my heated seat and steering wheel on for a bit. Okay, one of my tasks this morning on my way out is to stop at Tesco or stop at a suitable supermarket and pick up some. Actually, there's a Co-op just not far from here. I saw. I'll probably stop there. Pick up some Scottish bits and pieces to take home for my family. My daughter has requested iron brew, so there'll be some iron brew. And I always like to pick up some cakes or biscuits or something. So I will do that first off. Yeah, Stirling's nice, quite a nice city. Call it a city, correct me if I'm wrong. It's got a castle, quite an old kind of walled area. It's got quite a few restaurants. Although from my experience of going out in Stirling in the evening to get some food, get some dinner while I've been working here, there seems to be a lot of Indian restaurants that are empty. Seems like every corner you go around there's another Indian restaurant, but there's nobody in it. Which is strange. Maybe they get busy at the weekends, or maybe they just do a lot of takeaway service, and that keeps them all open. Okay, up on the right here is my Co-op, so I think I'll pop in there and see what I can get in terms of Scottish goodies. Hello, Co-op. Strange parking arrangement here. All spaces around the edge. Nothing but open space in the middle. Fair enough. I'm close to the road, so cars pick up the cross traffic. Okay, stop. Okay, so been into the Co-op, got my little bits of goodies and things to take home. Don't know if you can probably see these. So these are Empire biscuits. My daughter likes those, so she'll be pleased with those. My personal preference are the fruit slices. So I've got fruit slices as well. I probably should have turned the camera around so you can see me as well, but the camera's a hassle to turn around, so on this occasion I'm not doing. And then on top of that, I've got some iron brew, the drink of Scotland. So I'll probably have one of those while I'm driving. For anybody not familiar with iron brew, it is to Scotland what Coca-Cola is to pretty much every other country in the world. So you will get iron brew in the vending machines, in the pubs, in the lunch boxes of the children, everywhere basically. Probably preferentially to Coca-Cola quite often. If you go into a cafe and the parents are drinking coffees, the kids will be having iron brews. Bit of a jam there getting out of the co-op, but hey, we're on the way, no problem. So I've got my bits and pieces from Tesco's, heading to Keswick. Time now 11:26. It's expecting me to arrive. Hopefully this rain, there won't be this rain because I'll have travelled. Hopefully there won't be rain there. So we're looking a couple of hours, 2 hours 20 minutes ish from here. So hopefully different weather. If it's still raining, I'm not sure I fancy going on my cycling, but I think from the weather forecast, from what I planned, it should be all good. So all is good. Fully out of Stirling now, on the M80 heading south towards Glasgow. So you see it's clearly been quite rainy here, lots and lots of spray. Fortunately, it seems to have cleared up a bit. So we have blue sky, some fluffy clouds, definitely some sunshine. That's why you can see all the spray so obviously, because it's catching the light and the sunshine. 11:26 time of arrival in Keswick, and car is suggesting 12% at point of arrival, which is still, I think, is somewhat pessimistic, but hey, we will see. And yeah, all is good. It's M80, M74 from here through the lowland, the lower hills, the borderlands of Scotland. The car is telling me that my next ultra rapid charger on my route, so we're talking 150 kilowatt plus, is Fastned in 22 miles. That's just south of Glasgow on the M74. There are 3 available out of 8, so there's fairly busy there, but not overstacked. I have the heating system on, 20 degrees, got my heated seat on, heated steering wheel on. Temperature outside is 6 degrees. Currently, for this trip, 2.5 miles per kilowatt hour on efficiency. And I've been listening to the radio, and they are discussing the newly released England shirt, football England shirt, because Nike have gone and chosen to change the colours on the cross, St George's cross on the back of the shirt around the collar area. So they basically changed the England flag, which has started quite some discussion as to whether that's acceptable or not. Personally, I think it's definitely not acceptable. I probably wouldn't have bought the shirt anyway, but I would definitely not buy that shirt, unless maybe I was a collector, because it might become more valuable in 50 years time and there's not many around because nobody bought it. These things happen, don't they? But certainly I think it's a complete disgrace. the England flag is what the England flag is. It's a red cross on a white background. You can't go messing with it. It's certainly not Nike. Having the Americans messing with our flag is just not acceptable. So yeah, I will go back to listening to the radio discussion, and we will catch up sometime further up the road. Driving up through the borderlands of Scotland now. This is up in the hills, and you can see the wind turbines are giving it some over there up on the hills, spinning pretty rapidly, generating quite a lot of power. It is quite a windy day. No doubt you noticed the wind wipers and all the rain coming down. Been driving along wondering whether or not I should go cycling in the hills of Lake District. The weather forecast says it's going to be dry when I get there, but very windy. So yeah, it's been going through my mind. Maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. Going up's not a problem, it's coming down. When you're coming down on a bike in the wind on exposed hillsides, it can be quite tricky, a little bit dangerous. So yeah, in two minds. Guess I'll just carry on driving and see what the weather turns into. And now we've just passed the sign for England, so we are now back into England, out of Scotland, and the sky is bluer, the sun is shining, and there's a lot less rain. Obviously that's just coincidental. I'm not suggesting that Scotland only gets rain and England only gets sun. But that is the way it is today. So heading in towards the Lake District, also well renowned for having lots of rain, so hardly like that's a sunny place in the country. But heading in towards the Lake District, I'm going to go and park up, put the car on charge, get my bike out and go for a cycle. It is still very windy, I can feel it as I drive, but I'll just have to be careful, extra careful in the wind, and make my way up and down a couple of hills and have a bit of fun. Probably have a shorter ride and then maybe pick up a bit of lunch in Keswick while I'm there. Leave the car charging for 2 hours maybe, something like that, and that should give me enough to get to the other side of the Pennines using the A66, and then we'll see where I need to charge after that. So currently the car's expecting to get to Keswick with 24% remaining, which is massively different to the 14% it was suggesting when I left. I haven't gone at full motorway pace all the way, so that's probably why I've gained that extra 10%. I've lost maybe 8-9 minutes by doing so, according to my sat nav. Obviously if you were to go over the speed limit up at 80 or something, then you would lose more battery and you would probably have gained on what the sat nav was suggesting in terms of time. So it really does depend on whether you're wanting to charge down the country, talking about charging, whether you want to really kind of rocket down the country really fast and then charge up more often, or whether you're more relaxed in your style of driving like I am. Just enjoy the scenery. Obviously there are different people and therefore different styles of driving and different styles of road tripping in an EV. Even if you charge down the country at a rate of knots, breaking the speed limit all the way, there are plenty of points where you can stop and refill on an ultra rapid charger. And if you get the battery down to 10%, then this car charges extremely quickly. You can be back on the road in 15 minutes for each of those stops. But for me, I'm breaking up my journey, as I say, with a cycle ride. I love to ride my bike. I love to ride it in the hills. I'm passing the Lake District. There are hills I haven't ridden there still, which I want to strike off my list. I have a list of hills to ride around the UK, and so I'm going to take that opportunity. And while I'm taking that opportunity, the car can be topping up. It'll be a slow top up because it'll be on a destination charge point, so it'll be kind of 11 kilowatt speed rather than the rapid chargers, which would be 150 plus. So there won't be a great deal goes in, but because it'll be there for a good while, it'll be worth getting. It's also a little less expensive than the motorway services. Nowhere near as cheap as my home charging, of course, but less expensive than the motorway services. So in my mind, for me, the way I want to drive this return journey, it fits perfectly. If I had wanted to rapid charge my way down the country, going as fast as I could, then in 1 mile behind me now, at the last junction that I could have taken, there are Ionity chargers on the edge of Carlisle. There are 12 of them, and there are 5 currently available according to my system, so according to the car. So availability is there. You can do that if you want, but that's not my plan. This is the Lake District. Here are the fantastic hills that I'm going to be, well, not these ones, I'm not cycling up these ones particularly, but I've left the M6 onto the A66 heading towards Keswick, and in 6 miles time I will park up, get my bike out, get the car charging, pay my parking, and go for a ride for a couple of hours. Probably get some lunch while I'm in Keswick, and then onward after that. So at the moment we're looking at arriving at the car park at 28% battery. I don't know how much I'll gain while I'm there charging, probably 30% or something like that. So over 50% in the battery then, which would be enough to get me over the A66 onto the A1, and then I can charge one more stop, and then that'll be enough to get me home. So my additional stop on the A1 will be an ultra rapid charge, so that'll be just another 15 minutes or something. Whereas this one here will be just a slow destination charge while I go doing some stuff. So that's the plan. But hopefully on the camera on this section, the sun shining down on the hills is giving you a real good view of the Lake District here on the west side of the UK. Certainly got some nice blue skies today, much nicer than when I went up to Stirling earlier in the week. That was a lot more grey and rainy in comparison. This is Keswick, and just looking now for my car parking location. Last time I remember, I go past the Shell garage, turn left off this road, then there's a right and a left. Sat nav took me there pretty well last time, so again it'll be fine. So the left is just here, just where that Octavia is turning. And then it's next right and next left. Again, where that Octavia is turning. And I'm going to have to navigate around that truck. And left where the Octavia is turning, in fact. Maybe that Octavia is going to take my my charging bay. Except he can't charge, of course, because he's not electric, so I don't have to concern myself with that, that's for sure. But no, he's gone the other way, and I'm turning in left here to this car park. And I can see there is another Kia parked up there, and there is a BMW, so there will be 3 of us parking and charging. There are 4 spaces, so it's really of no concern. But it's busier than it was earlier in the week, when there was 1 person here when I arrived and nobody when I left. Apart from me, of course. So I shall park here. Right. I will set up my charging, pay my parking, get my bike out, go and cycle, and then we'll resume when I leave. So that's the first half of this journey. Well, it's not really half, but the first part of this journey sorted. I'm here in Keswick, ready to do my cycle ride, and I will quickly plug in to charge, pay my parking, and then go off on my bike for my cycle ride. And then we will carry on the journey from Keswick back home with a short stop on the A1 to top up. And that'll be it. So far so good. Beautiful sunshine, a little bit windy, but yeah, good. On the move now, headed away from Keswick, back towards the M6 junction. I'll go straight across the roundabout there onto the A66 across the North Pennines. So again, beautiful countryside. Nice for a day like this, especially with the blue skies and little white fluffy clouds. Still very windy. I think from the forecast I've probably got wind behind now, so that will obviously help with efficiency. Let's see if we can get past these lorries. And I've got bumpy. Got 118 miles to get to the cycle shop that I'm stopping off at. And the sat nav predicts I'll get there at 4:48. Now the cycle shop's open till 6, so I've got plenty of time at that rate. But the sat nav isn't so convinced I'll get there without charging. It's actually saying I'll get there with 6%, which is fine. But when I first programmed in the information, it said you may not get there on what battery you have. So I also need to get home from there as well. So even if I do get there with 6%, that's not really all that helpful because I also need to get home. I'm not in a rush to get to there because, as I say, they're open till 6. So even if I take 20 minutes to charge before arriving there, then I'll still get there before 6. Unless there's massive traffic jam problems suddenly occur, which hopefully there won't be. So it looks like I can probably charge somewhere around Leeming Bar or something like that. Won't need to stop for too long. On an ultra rapid charger, GridServe, something like that, I can put plenty into the car to get me all the way home. So at that point, if I charge up to 80% or something, then that should be enough for me to stop at the bike shop, pick up my spare part. It's a bike chain that I need. And then carry on all the way back home. So that's the plan. That's the new plan, or the plan for this afternoon, this evening anyway. All is good. So we're now over the North Pennines. We've done our Trans-Pennine route on the A66. Coming down the other side, I've got 41% remaining in the battery. I know I need to put something in on the way home. And here at Scotch Corner there are 12 units, 12 high power, ultra rapid charge points. The car tells me that 10 are available. Now I know from the same place that I stopped on the way up, so I know that I can get a coffee and something to eat from Greg's. So I might grab a coffee, get a donut, something like that. And while I'm doing that, charge up here. I'm looking for around 80%, 70-80% should do enough to get me home. So only about 160 miles now to home, so 80% should be plenty. Seems sensible to stop while I'm travelling around the roundabout. I'm having to pull off again. And there's the lorry supplying Greggs, so hopefully they've got plenty of stuff for me to eat, or that sort of thing. If the lady will stop walking down the middle of the road, then maybe I'll be able to get past. Hooray! So there's the charge points, loads free. The car says there's 10 free. I can see one charging car at the moment, so it looks like there might actually be 11 free here. Yep. So I have my pick. I'm going to choose the same one as I had last time, right at the end here. Why not? Gives me more door opening access, I think. If people, well, actually, they're all free, aren't they? I mean, nobody's going to pull in alongside me, are they? That's just the way it is. So, charging stop and donut and coffee stop. See you in a moment. Well, I was all ready to come back to the car and tell you how successful the charging had been. Set the car charging. It was going. Went to the toilet. Got myself a nice donut from Greggs. Gone for the chocolate one today. Really nice. Got myself a large latte. Only to come back to the car and find it would only charge for 7 minutes. So I don't know how long I've been away from the car, probably 15. So I've lost maybe 7 minutes. The GridServe charge point was displaying something about an isolation fault. So for safety purposes, it had shut it down. So I don't know quite what was going on there. So I plugged back in, restarted it, and it's all going. So it looks like I will be 7 minutes down. It's charging at 100 kilowatts at the moment, so that's decent enough. It's not maximum for this car, it's a little bit short of that. And temperature is pretty decent at the moment, so I can't see it's from my car side of things. Maybe it's the charge points a bit slow, but 100 is still pretty quick. I should be, according to the car, I should be done in about 14 minutes. So yeah, a little bit behind schedule, but we can accept that on this occasion. Donuts. Greggs do make nice donuts. And nice steak bakes. And nice sausage rolls. Really is top notch. They're up to 58% now, so probably don't need 80. I don't think. So maybe I'll just leave it till 70 and go. Kind of like a marshmallowy centre. Can you see that? I like this. I usually go for the caramel one. That's also good. Caramel, kind of a mapley caramel top with a caramel custard in the middle. That's good. But I like this one too. This is nice. Well done, Greggs. There you go. Quick Greggs advert for you. The coffee's not too bad. It'd be better if I got the coffee from Costa or somewhere. That would be a better coffee. Or even a little specialist coffee shop. That would be obviously the best. Oh, and also, while I was there's an M&S. So I got myself some Percy Pigs. That's Percy Pigs and Pals. And this is Percy Pig Piglets. They're on special offer, 2 packs for £3.50. Well, I don't think it's a special offer, it's probably the standard offer they do all the time, but yeah, I fancied some pigs on the way home. Charging stop complete. I took it up to 74%, that seemed to be plenty. Car says 200 miles in the tank, battery. It's a range estimate of 200 miles anyway, which is plenty to get me home. Don't want too many extra miles in the battery because they're expensive miles. Charging from one of those motorway services style charge points. GridServe at 79 pence. I mean, I like GridServe, they're reliable and they're in good locations and they're high power, but you do pay the price. That's for sure. So better to get home needing to charge than to get home with a whole load of extra that I didn't need to put in. Don't quite know exactly how long I stopped for there with the initial charging and then it's stopping and then charging again. But before my stop, so that's 20 minutes past 5 is my estimated time of arrival at the cycle shop now, and it was about 10 to 5 as I came down there, so it's about half an hour it took me in total. A bit long, would have been better obviously if it had carried on charging all the way through while I was busying myself with getting coffee and things. Yeah, disappointed on that one. Not something I've had happen before, but clearly there are still potential problems out there that can occur. With electric vehicles. Anyway, I've got my coffee, so I'm happy. I'm on my way. I'm still going to get to the cycle shop before it closes. Plenty of extra time. And I'm still scheduled to get home around the time I expected I would. Around the time I told my wife I'd get home as well. So I think all is good. All is good with the world. And it's a bit busy going on to the M1 by the looks of it. Fortunately, I'm going down the A1, so roadworks. There you go. They're cutting off a lane, right-hand lane, bringing 3 down to 2. Fortunately, I don't have to queue. I'm on the A1 slip, off to the A1 instead, and I am pretty close to where I'm stopping at the cycle shop. Jay's Cycles. I hope they got the part that I requested. Requested it back on Monday. Today is Friday. They've had 4 days to transfer it from their other location, warehouse, whatever it was. So I'm sure they've had plenty of time. I'm sure they should have it. Should be there in 10 minutes. Should get there with 57% battery remaining and should get home with 7% according to the car. So having charged to 74% of the services, getting home with 7%, that's a good arrangement. That was a good plan. Especially as I think actually I will probably get home with more than 7%, because as usual the Kia car tends to be quite pessimistic. So I often do better in terms of energy usage than it suggests. Still haven't opened the Percy Pigs, so I'm still resisting. Okay, so my cycle shop is here somewhere. That's the thought. This might be one of those. Let's try and find where I need to be. I don't see anything obvious. Those cars passed. I think I will maybe turn around this entrance. I think it's amongst those units there. That's my expectation. Called Jay's Cycles. So let's see. JPN Auto Parts, I see. Let's go into this entrance, see if there's anything in here. No, that's not the right place. Okay, so this could be tricky. Cycle Shack. There we go. It's part of that. I saw the MOT centre. I thought that was all the way along, but it's not. Cycle Shack, straight opposite me, Unit 4. That's where I need to be. So in we go. And we will find out I've got my bike chain. Hopefully I have. So there we go. That was the Kia sat-nav that brought me to this shop. I had just put in Jay's Cycle Shack, well, put in Jay's Cycles, and it brought up this as an option I went to here. So just to kind of show that the Kia sat-nav is actually very good. Okay, so I have my bike chain, job done. Only took a few minutes, 5 minutes or so. Good location actually this, it's just off the A1, so heading up and down the country, quite easy to pop into, as long as they've got the stock, or you get the stock delivered to the place on time. It's not a very big store, so they don't have a great deal of stock in there. Well, it look if you live in the area, it looks quite a happy, friendly sort of place to get your bike serviced or to pick up spares from. So all is good, as I like to say. So 104 miles to home now, 153 on the rangeometer. It's telling me I will get back with 8%. So again, this is a percentage that has been climbing as I've been driving. Like I say, this car, at least, about all Kia EV6s, but certainly this one seems to be quite pessimistic when it comes to its calculations on my percentage of battery. Maybe it's just because of the way I drive. Maybe I'm a smoother driver than many others. It's been a good drive so far. I've been keeping my eye on charging locations as I've passed, and so far they've all had availability. I could have stopped at Leeming Bar, I could have stopped at Wetherby, I could have stopped at Ferrybridge, and now I'm being told that in 25 miles time there are 9 out of 10 charge points available. GridServe. So now in the queue we have this lorry who thinks that extending the queue is a benefit to us all. Obviously hasn't seen the use both lanes to queue sign, and there will be a merge in turn sign later on. But clearly this lorry doesn't know how to read those signs. So RGF Logistics from Birmingham, shame on you. It says, when queuing, use both lanes. And it doesn't mean to straddle both lanes. Look, you can see the sign just there. Look, it says, when queuing, use both lanes. Do you not read that sign? It's there. Look, that sign. Almost home. So as I'm sure you can see, it's now dark. Everybody's got their lights on. And I'm just passing Stamford, so almost back at Peterborough. I've got 18 miles left to do, according to SatNav, and the car says it's got 50 of range remaining, so it looks like my estimation of around 70 something percent charge up was about right, which is good. I didn't waste time sitting around any longer than I had to. I didn't waste money charging up with expensive service station electricity more than I had to. My estimated time of returning home is 7:20, so 20 past 7 in the evening, and it is saying I will return home with 14%. So actually, I could have charged less. I did say I was going to charge to around 70, I ended up at 74. So, in fact, maybe I could have even got away with 65 or something at that rate. But you don't want to push it, do you? You don't want to go too close. Don't want to get too close to the bone, as they say. So I'm quite happy. You never know when you might end up with a closed road and having to make a diversion, or in fact when you get home having to do a quick trip to the shops or go and pick up somebody from somewhere local. So you need to have a 20-30 mile buffer. So I'm going to call this it. Thank you for joining me on this journey. In fact, both journeys, if you join me on the video from Peterborough to Stirling and back from Stirling to Peterborough again. Successful trip. One down point was the stop at Scotch Corner services today, where the charge point stopped charging my car mid-charge. It got going again. I didn't waste too much time, only about 5 minutes. But yeah, that's the down point. Upsides, the charge point in Keswick, low cost, allowed me as a destination charger to go off and do some cycling, get some hills in my legs ahead of the summer. Charge points in Scotland are inexpensive, easy to access, loads of them. The car is a dream to drive, really nice. Yeah, and predictable as well. So if it tells you you've got 39 miles left, you've got around 39 miles left. slightly pessimistic, which is the best way for it to be. So all in all good. So I'm just at some Starbucks nearby. I don't like to drive to and from home on video, so I have got ETA 14% left, well, not left, 14% on arrival back home, so that will do me in case I need to go anywhere this evening, or if there won't be any traffic, I don't suppose, or any significant detours from here. I'm too close to home for that. So that is it. I'm signing off. As I say, thank you for joining me. Join me again on EV Car Share, and until next time, enjoy the journey.